well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The Second Amendment.
I really like that reading of the Second Amendment by Charlton Heston there. Again, my name is Joe Dano, and my co-host is Leigh Castle.
Hi, Joe.
How you doing, Leigh?
Doing good.
Good. Today, Leigh and I have a special guest from Mantis Tech that we're very excited to host. His name is Jake Hollenbeck. How you doing there, Jake?
Hi, I am great, guys. Joe, Leigh, nice to meet you both. Excited to be on 2A today and be able to talk about Mantis, and grateful for the opportunity to sit down and talk with you guys today.
We're grateful as well. I know personally I'm a fan of the Mantis products that I have used, and I was very much looking forward to this podcast.
Yeah, this is one of the interviews that as a firearms trainer I've been really looking forward to for a long time. The possibilities that this software and hardware potentially offers is really interesting and intriguing to me. So I'm looking forward to doing this today.
Jake, question right out of the gate. How did Mantis Tech come to be originally?
Yeah, so Joe, Mantis has been around officially since about 2013. Through concepts, designs, thoughts. It was started by the Algier brothers. There's three of them, and they are wonderful guys who very innovative. And they like to get together and come up with ideas on how to make the world a better place. And as they are avid 2A supporters and safety forward, they wanted to come up with a way to be able to train anybody to be able to get a good set of fundamentals to get going and grow their skill sets with firearms. And that's essentially, where the seed began to sprout for Mantis Tech.
I like that.
Yeah. Yep. They.
Do you know, Jake? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. What were you thinking?
Well, I was just wondering about the brothers. Did they come from like a firearms background? Did one of them? Did all of them? Or were they more like on the engineering and tech side? Or was it both? Do you know?
No. So they're all engineers. They all got engineering degrees. So their application was software to begin with.
Yes.
Application to firearms training is what I'm saying here, not just the apps for the phones and stuff. So yeah, they're all engineering backgrounds, and they were trying to figure out a way. Software's one of the easiest things in the world to spread to many people very quickly. So they knew they needed a software approach to be able to do firearms training, and that they needed a more interactive way to do training other than just sharing videos and like audio recordings and things like that.
Yeah, it's an overused word, but I just want to say brilliant.
It really is. Leigh, there's really nothing else on the market like this. The competition for the flagship products, what I'm talking about here, the Mantis X shooting performance sensors, the X series sensors, there's really nothing else out there like it.
Yeah, and
it really is innovative.
Yeah, could we break that down real quick for the listeners that might not be familiar with exactly what this is? Could you give them a general description of what Mantis products are? Yeah.
So really, we have kind of three product categories that we sell. Our flagship is the Mantis X shooting performance sensor. We've got a couple different versions, but essentially what it is a marksmanship improvement device that connects to your firearms. And it's an accelerometer and gyroscope that's in the sensor, and it's set up to hypersensitive movement and vibration. And all of that movement and vibration are streamed to your mobile device, your phone or your tablet. And all the algorithms on that software essentially read all those sensitive movements and give you feedback on your manipulation fundamentals. So things like your grip, trigger press, what you're doing with your support hand, all of that is read by the sensor. And then through, drills and courses that are available on the applications, it's able to see what's going on with your fundamentals and how to give you feedback to continually improve those fundamentals.
Yeah, and just sort of breaking that down just a little bit further, I just want to throw in, so it's basically a small device that you attach to your firearm. It attaches to just about anything on the market, especially semi-autos. I'm sure probably there may be a way for revolvers, but we can get into that later.
Yeah.
But it's a small device that you attach to your firearm, and it helps you, and then you download an app onto your phone, and the sensor interfaces with your phone, and then you're able to perform drills through the software on the app that help you improve your shooting in the live fire situation, and even some live fire as well. Correct?
That's correct. That's it in a nutshell. Exactly. It's designed for a standard Picatinny rail, connects right up to the firearm and your phone, and off to training you go, and you get all that handy feedback.
It's a great system, and one of the things that I've experienced and really like with that is Mantis has a lot of goals for an individual, and it really promotes using of the system and improving the basic fundamentals by positive reinforcement with you guys will send out like stickers and patches for people accomplishing certain levels. Do I recall that correctly?
Yeah, that's right, Joe. So we do have a fun program where these apps, both for our Mantis X series, which we're talking about, and a couple of other products we can get into here in a minute. But yeah, there's courses on the app. So things like basic marksmanship, advanced marksmanship, elite marksmanship, some fun ones like the Gecko 45 proficiency course, which is a riff on an old internet meme of the mall cop, the mall ninja. As you complete these courses, we send you a nice PVC Velcro patch. You can throw it on your patch wall, your range bag, whatever you want. It's a little bit of a badge of honor, but it's also it's just fun to be able to collect things, and it does give you some motivation and inspiration to complete the courses that are out there for you. So it's a pretty fun little program we do.
Absolutely. I saw that. I was very intrigued by it, and I'm a fan of that because a lot of people with just a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of motivation will practice and train just that much more. And I'm always a fan of additional training.
Yeah, and really, Joe, so there's not only do we do the patches and stuff like that, but that's a question we get a lot, is I think there's like 17 or 18 drills that are on the app, around the clock all the time, every time you log in. But we do have a cool feature that we actually just released earlier this year, where we have a daily challenge. So, we get people asking, okay, what if I start running through these courses and I'm done with them and I'm sick of drills? I don't have a lot of inspiration to get back on the app after I do that. Well, with these daily challenges every day, there's going to be something new and fun to do on the app to really push that training. So like as an example, today is January 4th, 2024. Our daily challenge is called the slip and slide today. And that would be where you get your hands soapy and slippery, then fire 10 shots, in parentheses.
Interesting.
Dry fire practice only, please. Yeah, so it really is. It's a fun way to continually push yourself. It's a unique challenge every day, and it's a good inspiration to, log in every day, get your shots in, and continue pushing yourself.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
it's a great idea.
I have a couple of thoughts there. One, the motivational factor. From my background, I know that dry fire training is where the magic really happens, and then you just go out to the range and confirm that what you're doing in dry fire training is productive and working. And but the problem is that it's hard work, right? It can be tedious, and so anything that makes that more fun and more motivating is going to be really good for people because it gets you to do the things that you might not ordinarily want to do. And the second thought is that this, from the safety aspect, is you could do something like that. You could get your hands really, really slick and wet, and then do some dry fire training and see what that might be like. And so that's really another benefit of your product.
Yeah, absolutely. So since you brought it up, I'll just jump right into that, Leigh.
Yeah, please do.
So, yeah, really, we got a lot of folks asking, since our systems, don't simulate recoil, what's the actual benefit of doing this? We get a lot of response to that, online and out there in the general public saying, if it doesn't simulate recoil, that the system doesn't do any good. But you ask any instructor, trainer, the benefit of doing dry presses, and really, almost every firearms instructor we end up talking to about this suggests that you need to be doing dry presses probably twice as often as, at least twice as often as you're able to get out to the range. 90% of the shot happens before the round ever leaves the barrel. Your grip, your trigger press, your support hand, all those things that go into that are going to affect where that bullet's going to land right out of the gate. So, that's first of all why we suggest doing dry training. You want to be pushing your fundamentals. You want to be continuing to improve there. And then when you're ready to add recoil to the mix, the X3 and the X10 shooting performance sensors, they're designed to handle recoil. So not only are you getting this training and feedback at home, but when you're ready to go out and do some live fire as well, you can take the sensor with you and get the exact same feedback with that recoil incorporated.
Yep, fantastic.
Absolutely. And one thing I'd like to add on top of that, for anybody that is focused on either the sport side of shooting firearms, or for Leigh and myself, more self-defense aspect, a crucial part of your speed in being able to protect yourself is your holster draw. And there is a metric that Mantis will track that can improve the consistency and speed of your holster draw. And that holster draw is crucially important.
It can be life or death.
Absolutely.
It is. You're right, Joe. And that's available on the X10. The X10 actually comes with a couple of big features and benefits as compared to the X2 or the X3. So I'll just break those down really quick. All three of these sensors have the same form factor and the same idea behind the technology. So they're all the same size. They attach to the firearms the same way. The X2 is dry fire only for pistol and rifle. The X3 does live and dry fire for pistol and rifle. And then the X10, as you noted there, Joe, it does live and dry for pistol and rifle, but it also works for shotgun, so like skeet and trap. And then it works on archery as well. So we've got software for archery out there as well. The X10 also comes with 2 drills that aren't available on the 2 and 3, and that's the holster draw analysis and the recoil meter. That'll give you ideas of how much muzzle rise you're getting and how to mitigate recoil. But while we're talking about the holster draw analysis, it breaks your holster draw down into essentially 5 sections. How well you're pulling out, your stroke up, your punch out, the trigger squeeze, everything like that with the follow up. It's all broken down in there. So it'll be able to show you not only speeds and times at each portion of the draw, but also a motion graph. So it shows you, the direction of how well you're pulling it out to the holster and getting it punched out. If you're chicken winging or if you're scooping in towards your torso, if you're flopping out on the punch out, if you're scooping up on the punch out, all those things to really help you improve time, get a sturdy foundation out of the holster to get that first shot off. So it is huge, and it's helped me personally immensely to be able to improve my holster draw as well. It's been a massive benefit, specifically when we're talking about self-defense situations or sporting situations.
Yeah, and that's the beginning of the entire process.
Exactly. Yep. That is step number 1 on defense or sporting, to be able to get that first shot off as fast as possible is to get it out of the holster. So it's a fantastic tool for that.
I agree. And when I was looking to get the X10, I had a previous version. I apologize, I don't recall which one it was. But what I was really happy about was that Mantis offered I'll call it a buyback, where if me being a previous customer, I was able to take what I had previously purchased and wanted a newer version and Mantis credited my account and put it towards my next purchase, which I thought very highly of for two reasons. Pardon me. One, obviously I was saving money, so I was fond of that. But to me, it also shows that Mantis as a company is very excited for people to advance. They make it just a little bit easier. And I look very highly on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're talking about our trade-in program, Joe.
The trade-in, yes.
And that is, yep. It's a huge benefit, to folks that just want to say, hey, I'm brand new. I don't necessarily need this thing out on the range with me. I'm not doing anything defense-based yet. I'm just trying to get familiar with this firearm for the first year, 2 years, whatever you're trying to do there. If you want to come back at a later time and upgrade, we do have great trade-in value for any old unit that you're trying to upgrade to the next unit. So, and just like you said, it's because we're excited about people wanting to grow and learn more and become more proficient, so we're more than happy to give you a fair trade-in price for that old unit to get upgraded to a newer one.
I was very happy to see that.
Yeah, and that thread of thought sort of takes me back to the brothers that started the company. You said that was a mission of the company, was to get products that would help people, everyone who was interested, to be able to increase their proficiency and their training and their safety. And so maybe it's a good time to sort of finish up that story, because I know there's so much that I wanted to talk to you about, and we're excited. So you got these. You got these three bros.
It really was. So our company mission right now stands is train 1 million shooters a year.
Wow.
That's what we're trying to do. And obviously we're going to have to grow that exponentially if we want everyone in the world to use a Mantis and to be trained. But, we're hitting that goal. We are. We're making sure that we're getting 1 million units out a year to be able to help everyone grow and learn as a shooter. But yeah, back to that origin. So when the three brothers kind of came up with this idea, they started looking for ways to be able to get sensing technology attached to a firearm.
Yeah, must have been so interesting.
The prototype was actually just like a really old Android phone that they hacked to be able to access the gyroscope and accelerometer that's in a cell phone. And it was just like rubber band and haphazardly strapped to a pistol so that they could, proof of concept to get it to work. And then I think it took them, I don't know, I think it was like 12 to 18 months, something like that, to actually get the first prototype Mantis X sensor set up and on a firearm, and then get a couple other engineers involved to start fine-tuning how to handle all of that raw data being streamed. And then that's basically where the software was formed and born, where the app was started. And then obviously it's just been, an uphill grind ever since then. Really the biggest boom, what really got the sensors off the ground and pushed out, had us push out more products.
Yes.
Was leading up to COVID. That's really when we started getting a lot of traction in the industry, and folks weren't able to get out to the range. Ammo at that time was ridiculously expensive.
Oh yeah.
And that hasn't necessarily changed a whole lot. So that is an added benefit. You're saving a little bit of money on brass too, but that's really where it started taking off. And right now we're on the version 3 of the sensor. So it used to be just the original sensor was about twice the size of what's available now, and it had a like screw and bolt setup to be able to attach to the firearm, and now it's just the easy spring detent clip to slide on and off. So just as these iterations have come out, the software's gotten better, the detections become more sensitive. The algorithms that we've set up, it was just originally live and dry fire. Now we've got dry fire in all sorts of different patterns for like cert guns or dry fire mag inserts. Wow. Single action, double action dry fire, specifically dry fire universal. So, we've really expanded the amount of algorithms that read all of this data and give the feedback as well.
Oh, wow, that's great.
It's come a long way from the original.
Yeah, it has. It really has, and we've got big dreams going forward too. There's some things on the roadmap where we're hoping to be able to combine some of the technologies we have into, a single package to be able to really round out the training experience instead of having a couple different products to cover those bases. Which that would probably give me a good in to be able to talk about a couple of our other products. So
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, please do.
yeah, we've been talking about the X series sensors, and that's just a third of our product line. So we also have the Laser Academy kits, which the V2 version of that for the app was actually just launched about a month ago, and it's incorporated quite a bit of training videos and worked through drills, in a streamlined experience to start for folks that are new, which is great. But essentially, that technology uses a laser cartridge that's caliber specific that goes into your firearm. Our smart targets, which are targets with QR code designators on them, and the Laser Academy app, which is, it's its own app. It's not the same thing as the Mantis X app. And what that does is the app uses your phone or tablet's camera to recognize these targets. And then every time you pull the trigger on your pistol, that leaves a laser splash on the target itself, and that'll start recognizing point of impact and grouping. So that's the point of impact portion of our training. Whereas the Mantis X, that's looking at, your fundamentals, your movement, your manipulation of the firearm. And then finally, we've got the Blackbeards, which are AR-15 and SIG MCX specific, but those are trigger reset systems. So it just replaces the bolt carrier group that goes in those rifles. And then the magazine is the battery that powers these units, and it will constantly reset the trigger over and over and over again on your rifle, which makes dry fire training obviously way better, so you don't have to charge the rifle each time. You get rapid fire out of it. And it's also got one of our Mantis X sensors built into the magazine. So all of that feedback on your fundamentals and weapon manipulation, that's all something you can do with those now as well. So we're really excited about those, and those have been going like hotcakes. People really like those.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Let me ask you on that's called, I'm sorry, what's that system?
Yeah, so for the AR-15 and the MCX, that's called the Blackbeard X.
The Blackbeard X. And what kind of range can you shoot at?
It's not. So just like the Mantis X sensors, that's what's built in the bottom of the magazine. It allows you to use whatever you would like as a target at any distance.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and Joe, there is, if you choose to, you can get a laser in that BCG, so that every time you pull the trigger, you get a laser flash, and that does allow you to use it with our Laser Academy as well.
That sounds fantastic.
Laser, yeah, it's good for about 50 yards, 50 meters. So you can really reach out there and use that laser system too if you want to.
And it's my understanding that the trigger squeeze and reset are your trigger set and reset on your weapon.
Exactly. It's your rifle, and that's one of, if not the biggest benefit, one of the biggest benefits about the Blackbeard systems is, it's your rifle, it's your furniture, it's your trigger group, it's your optics, it's the same pull weight, the same reset functionality, all of it. So there's some other systems out there that want to do something similar, but they've kind of got either a gas system you have to put into it, or there's like a little button beat that you have to put behind the trigger on some of those systems. Ours is your rifle. You just throw in our bolt carrier group and magazine, and you're off to the races from there.
That sounds great.
It is. It's so easy, so practical. It's great stuff.
That sounds like my next purchase.
Can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys don't have one yet, definitely we'll need to get that set up with you, because they're awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. You had mentioned some of your guys' products really took off during the recent pandemic. And with that, the cost of ammunition skyrocketed, so there's a savings in that. But one thing that I have found where there's a lot of value is that if I find myself with an extra 30 or 40 minutes of time at my house, That's not enough time to go to the range, but that is certainly enough time to break out some of these components, use them, and get them put away within that allotted time. And it allows more training and more practice than me and plenty of other people otherwise would have had by being able to do it in the living room or a den or a basement.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly, Joe. And so you're right. While we're talking about cost benefit here, obviously there's a ton of value in being able to not spend the time to go to the range, but as well as same on the ammunition. I would also like to mirror that, so that we're not threatening, ammunition usage. It's a force multiplier for ammunition. You're already going to go out and shoot that ammo. You might as well be able to get the feedback and data back from shooting those live rounds as well.
Sure.
So you're getting more bang for your buck out of the ammo you're already going to go shoot too. So it really is. It's cost benefit both ways you want to look at it.
That's a great point. That is a fantastic point. You personally, how often do you use some of these systems?
Yeah. So obviously I've had a keen eye on the industry, forever. I grew up with firearms, doing hunting and defense my whole life up in South Dakota, and then ended up joining the military. I was in the military for 4 years. And then not long after I got out of the military, I started doing software. So I've always had an eye on Mantis, as they had grown and as I had separated and started to re-simulate into civilian life. So, as soon as I got the opportunity to interview and come work for him, that's when I really started digging into being able to use it often and trying multiple parts of it and really adding it to my training regime. And, I would say, we advertise that you become much more proficient after just using it for 20 minutes. You're going to learn more about yourself than you knew you would. So that was absolutely true for me. Being able to break it out, for the very first time, immediately started seeing things about my own fundamentals, and ever since have continued to keep that in my routines and continue to use it to grow. So, personally, it's been a huge benefit to me to be able to learn more about myself and about proper usage and safety. So,
and that's saying a lot, Jake, because it sounds as though you weren't new to firearms. So even after being an avid hunter and shooter and going through military training, where you weren't by far, you were not a beginner, there was still plenty for you to learn with the system.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly, Joe. And we pride ourselves on, not only does it help new folks get familiar and comfortable and understand things about shooting, but we've got professional shooters that use this product every day. We've got Lena Mitulek, she uses it all the time, and
I like her.
She's a world champion. JJ Rakaza for Beretta, it's really helped him with his target to target transitions. We've got Daniel Hornady, who's the team captain for SIG shooting team. He loves it and uses it all the time. So truly, we've got a lot of high level shooters that still use this to continue to, sharpen their skills and hone in on things that they can continue to improve. Shooting's a perishable skill,
right?
You guys,
For sure.
And really, anything to help keep that sharp and running well and actually see that feedback and data, it really helps us to grow. So, the Mantis stuff has truly helped people stay sharp and help them become familiar if they're new.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah, absolutely. What you're probably somewhat limited on what you can talk about as far as what the future has for Mantis, but it sounds like nobody over there is collecting dust. It sounds like constantly innovating and trying to come up with the next item or improving software. What can you tell us that might be coming up?
Yeah, so I'm sure this year at SHOT Show we'll have a couple of things out for people to use and see, and we're really going to start talking about a roadmap for release dates. But I can tell you, We're working on new versions of the Blackbeard for more rifle platforms.
Excellent.
So
Yeah.
like AR-10 is on the roadmap. That's going to break into a lot more of the AR market.
Nice.
We're looking at AKs as well,
Interesting.
and that's obviously going to help with things with not just AK upper receivers, but also similar things like the SCAR patterned rifles and things like that. And then we're trying to figure out a way to have Laser Academy have a more interactive approach other than static targets. So we are looking at trying to figure out a projector-based system for Laser Academy so that you can have interactive scenarios instead of just static paper targets. And that's really where the biggest focus is right now. We've got a couple other things going on that are really high up on our request list, like reset systems for pistols.
Yeah.
That's probably our number one request.
Yeah.
Yep.
The biggest challenge with that is we can do ARs and and AKs and stuff because no matter who manufactures it, it's the same spec pattern for that firearm where there's 100 manufacturers with 1,000 model lines for pistols. So trying to be able to find a way to make it work on all of them has been the biggest challenge there. But we're working on some cool stuff that, I really can't speak to yet, but I just want to be able to help comfort the masses to let them know that it is on our roadmap and we're trying to get that figured out.
And it definitely seems like their Mantis as a company takes a lot of pride in that. So I'm very anxious to see what's on the horizon.
Sounds like
Yes.
some good James Bond stuff coming up from Mantis. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll definitely be super unique and very different to be able to make that happen. But yeah, we're definitely tracking on that and trying to get it figured out.
That's great. Currently, there are some products out there that do offer the factory reset, pretty much I think with CO2 cartridge style. Can those be used in conjunction with Laser Academy? Getting separate products like that?
Right. So, Joe, really, we do have ways of making it work. Laser Academy just needs a visible laser to function. So it doesn't have to be our lasers. It doesn't have to be red. It doesn't have to be green. It just needs to be a visible laser, and Laser Academy will detect it. Now, I'm not sure, one of the biggest companies out there that does the CO2 and gas reset stuff is Cool Fire Trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've got one of the largest, model line availabilities for handguns and to be able to help, do automatic resets for dry fire presses. One thing I can say is, while I'm not sure about CO2, Dry Fire Mag, the company Dry Fire Mag, they do have a trigger reset system, and that does, they do have specific model lines that have a laser incorporated with them. So, if you're looking for a way to get your pistol on Laser Academy where you don't have to rack it each time, 9 times out of 10, we're going to recommend those folks. In the meantime, run over to Dry Fire Mag and pick one of those up that come with a laser. And that's usually the easiest way to make it happen.
Gotcha.
Yep. I did try and do a little bit of research before we got on today, Joe, to see, does Cool Fire Trainer have a laser system? And I'm not entirely sure, to be completely honest. I feel like I've seen some people say that they've got a way to make it happen, and I've seen other people say, yeah, they really don't. It's just good for trigger resets. So, if you go, they've got like the infrared muzzle laser and, a fill laser adapters. And I'm not entirely sure if those work with it yet or not. I've never actually seen one
Gotcha.
up front in real life like I have their other laser reset systems. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I do know that Dry Fire Mags work with ours.
That's good to know.
Has anybody tried using it with airsoft?
So the thing about airsoft, Lee, is because, while the outsides of those rifles are all spec'd and work, like
True.
our Mantis X,
Yeah, I know where you're going.
They'll work with that. Yeah, but all the internals, because there's not an actual, like, traditional hammer or pin in those, it's really hard to get our Laser Academy system to work with those because there's really not a lot of laser systems for airsoft.
Right. But maybe the X system, of course, could dovetail right into it.
Yes, it does. It
Okay.
does. We've had people manage to get one of the Mantis X sensors attached to
Manages.
like a Nerf gun
Yeah.
and get feedback on a Nerf gun. So, yeah, there's actually a really cool feature. It made me think of this. In the settings, we have a shot detection troubleshooter for the Mantis X sensors, and if you've got like a very peculiar, like maybe competition style rifle or pistol, or something that has like a hairpin trigger that it's actually really hard for the sensor to detect it with like a normal algorithm, we do have a shot detection troubleshooter that you can run that forces the software to reduce its sensitivity or increase its sensitivity to be able to detect different movements. So it essentially tells you as the user, okay, connected to the firearm that doesn't seem to be detecting well, you go through all these steps. Okay, take 5 shots with a second between each shot, whatever it is. And then when that's done, there's a custom algorithm made specifically for that firearm.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, there's always a way to make sure detection is going to happen. And that's just another one of those, nice benefits of the X series sensors.
You know what I like about that, Jake, is that shows again the importance that Mantis as a company puts on trying to help everyone. There's I don't think there's ever going to be a product that's 100% for 100% of the people, but that shows that there may be a hiccup with a couple products or a couple firearms out there, but let's not just say, okay, we're going to brush those to the side. They say, let's try and use technology to also incorporate those. And that says a lot to me about Mantis as a company.
Well, so, Joe, it's going to be, speaking to that point, we literally want to train every shooter out there. Anyone who's interested in it and wants to learn more, we want to help train. So I think you'll come to find that not only are we flexible on how we can get detection to happen so that you can get training, but we are constantly evolving, our software to be able to apply it to specific scenarios. As an example of this, we have the Marine Corps and the U.S. Army and the FBI qualification courses available on our software. It's something where you can go enable those in the settings, and it completely changes the interface for those specific qualification scenarios. But that's because we have Army, Marine Corps, and FBI using these for qualification. Myself as an Army guy, when I was in, before we were able to go out to the range with our rifles, we went out and laid in front of the barracks in the grass and did something called a dime drill, where you would have to balance a dime on the front sight post, pull the trigger on dry fire, and reset the rifle without the dime ever falling over. And the point of that was to, obviously help you adjust to correctly holding the rifle, pulling the trigger, and manipulating the weapon in general. Well, now, all of the Marines going through Parris Island right now are using the Blackbeards in their dry fire week.
Are they really?
And they are not only, seeing the benefit of the usage of this, but all of the platoons that ended up using these are qualifying at 100%. They're not having any Marines not be able to qualify after they've used the Blackbeard. So that just speaks to itself on how much we're able to adjust, our software to be able to apply to specific situations to make sure our users are getting trained. And I would add to that in the rare cases where we can't make something happen, our customer service teams are top notch. We want to make sure that you're being taken care of not only as a shooter, but as a customer of ours. We want you to know that we're always going to be here to be able to help out no matter the scenario. If the warranty's expired, we've got repair options. The warranties are great themselves. They're 2 or 3 years depending on the product you're using. So really, as far as, company goals and morals and standings, we always want to be there for the shooters and the people that want to use our stuff and want to learn and grow.
I love it. And based right here in the United States, which is important to support, companies within the country.
Absolutely.
If Jake, sort of going forward, and you don't have to answer this now because you might not know off the top of your head, but if there's a civilian trainer out there who's incorporating Mantis into like either their beginners or using it in combination with the dry fire mag, some kind of trainer that you're knowledgeable of, I would love to get them in for an interview. And if you don't have somebody that's doing that and giving you some feedback and data, I would love to be that trainer.
Yeah. So off the top of my head, what I would point you to, and I think you guys already are, is our affiliation programs. So we have, there are trainers all over the country that incorporate Mantis into their training cycles. A really big one that I can think of off the top of my head actually is John Correa and Neil Weiderman.
Yeah.
For active
You're right.
defense. They're really big Mantis, users, and they add it to their program, and everywhere they go, they have a Mantis portion for dry fire importance. But that, essentially, like I said earlier, it's a force multiplier. We've had a couple trainers come out and be like, well, this will never replace real training, and you still need to be able to go take classes. We absolutely agree. You absolutely need to be taking classes. You need to be doing trainings. This unit is designed to help you stay sharp and improve you, right?
Yeah.
It's not designed to replace.
I hate to burst those bubbles, bubble of those trainers, but that's not where the magic happens. You got to do the work, and the work is tedious sometimes. If you're not using Mantis, it could be boring and repetitive. You're cycling that slide a lot to get your dry fire in. But any shooter, especially competitive shooters, know if you're not doing your dry fire training, you're not doing what you need to do to excel.
Exactly. And speaking to that force multiplication and help with trainers specifically, Leigh, is there's all sorts of people out there that you can stand there as an instructor and say, all right, I can see right now that you're pushing your trigger, and that's why all your shots are going low and left. I can see that. Mm-hmm. This is a tool to help you show them, okay, here on this movement, on these 3 shots, when I told you were pushing on the trigger and you swore up and down that you had your finger right and that you weren't pushing, well, here you can actually see the motion that happened and help break down, this is why this is happening. Maybe you're using the wrong knuckle to pull the trigger, whatever it is, and here's the actual motion that's happening. It really helps visualize and show tendencies to not only just, oh, well, my instructor says this, but it doesn't feel like it. Well, it's like, well, here, here's the black and white proof. It's on paper. You can see it happening.
It is the power of data.
What a great tool.
It is, yeah.
Jake, you had mentioned the affiliate program, and actually we are an affiliate of Mantis, and it's been great. So anyone that's listening, if they do want to visit our homepage, on the bottom, all of those Mantis products can be searched and purchased through 2A Today on the homepage. Well, I think one of the things sounds like I'm going to be purchasing is that Blackbeard system, because I don't have that, and it sounds like another very useful tool that I would love to incorporate.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to reiterate that for both of you, and 2A Today in general, the biggest reason of our affiliate programs is, we're helping each other grow. And that's obviously the point of an affiliation, but truly, to any of the listeners out there, people that want to support, your favorite companies, your favorite podcasters, if they have an affiliation with us, that is helping them grow as well. So, if you go use that link on 2A Today, you're going to help Joe and Leigh continue to grow and continue to push while also, using the Mantis to learn and grow and help support us as well. So it really is a fantastic way to go about it.
I have another question. I was just thinking of Jake as you were talking there, and I appreciate what you said. For a trainer such as Leigh, is there an interface that's either available now, or is it something that you can take back to Mantis and inquire about? But if he has, I'm going to say, just say 4 Blackbeard systems, and he's doing training with individuals, can he have, say, one iPad set up and get all the metrics from each one of those in a central device, or would he have to have a device set up for each one of those Blackbeard systems?
Right. So having multiple sensors connected to one device is something that we've gotten requests for quite a bit, Joe. And it is something that is on the roadmap. We're going to figure out a way to make that happen.
Gotcha.
Right now, it's not available. But to counteract that, there's 2 things. One, since the app is free and it works on any mobile device, it's easy to say, in Leigh's example here, to say, hey guys, this is where we're going to start. Please go download this app on your phones, or, you know, if you want to get maybe, like you said, if you had 4 Blackbeards, maybe you just go out and pick up 4 cheaper tablets, like
Sure.
the Amazon Fire Kindles, you know,
Gotcha.
something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and create an account. You know, that way all that data is connected to that shooter, no matter the device they're using. And then, you know, to expand on that, to be able to get that information back, there is a website that we have called train.mantisx.com. And there you're able to log into your account and see a larger display of shooting history, training history, data conglomeration, things like that. And you can export all that data from there, from your own user account, if that's something you want to do.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's not as convenient as having all, you know, 10 of your students just link up to the same device, and then you can see, you know, lane 1 through 10, what's going on with their shots and everything. But, you know, as I was referring to all the military usage earlier, that's something we've gotten a request for, and that is something we're working on.
Good to know.
And as far as their device, they could just have that. Does it need to be co-located with them, like on the line, just like in a pocket, or could it be sitting on a table, you know, 10 yards away? How does that work?
Yeah, so realistically, it's the power of the Bluetooth on the device is, you know, your limitation. So this uses, I should probably go double check this, but I think it's Bluetooth 4.1 or 5.1. Pretty much the latest version of Bluetooth.
Got it.
And that's really, it's, you know, whatever that range is limited to is what you're stuck with.
Sweet.
Okay, that sounds great. Jake, unless there's anything else that you wanted to fill us in on, Leigh and I would both very much like to thank you for allowing us to have this conversation with you today. I learned a little bit myself, and I hope that our listeners have learned a lot too.
Yeah, no, absolutely, you guys. And really, I don't have anything else to add to it other than just my appreciation, be able to come out here and share the mission with you guys and be able to talk through the technology a little bit and answer some questions. So we always appreciate the opportunity to spread the gospel, so to speak. And, you know, I truly enjoyed the conversation and wish you two individually, you know, a happy new year and the best for 2A today.
Same to you, Jake.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you very much for that. And what I would say is that probably have to follow up in 12 or 18 months, because it sounds like Mantis isn't going to be not coming out with new products.
Oh, no, we'll have plenty. We'll have plenty. And I would imagine a year and a half from now, we'd be having another brand new conversation. And that really should be the point, Joe. So, yeah, we're not going anywhere, and we're only going to continue to innovate and grow from here. So.
And Jake, if you're ever up in the Chicago area and I've got a class running or some training going, Castle Defensive, would love to have you come and run a course with us.
Absolutely. Next time I'm up in that area at headquarters, I'll give you guys a shot and I'll swing by.
I would love it.
Sounds great, Jake. Thanks very much. You have a great one.
Thanks, fellas. You too.
Take care, my man.
All right.